Well, Harry's decision to reveal the number of Taliban chess pieces he killed as an Apache pilot in Afghanistan has been condemned as a betrayal of the armed forces. Here's a reminder in his own words.
I could always say precisely how many enemy combatants I'd killed, and I felt it vital never to shy away from that number. Among the many things I learned in the army, accountability was near the top of the list. So, my number? 25. It wasn't a number that gave me any satisfaction, but neither was it a number that made me feel ashamed.
Well, I'm joined in the studio by Hanif Qadir, who's a consultant on counter-terrorism and a former member of Al-Qaeda, the terror group. Also joining us is former US Navy SEAL and the man who shot Osama bin Laden, Rob O'Neill, and Colonel Richard Kent, the former commander in Afghanistan for the British Armed Forces. So welcome to all of you. Hanif Qadir, you're a former extremist at the start, really, of Al-Qaeda's operations in Afghanistan after George Bush declared the war on terror, but you quickly renounced them after seeing what they did to civilians.
Absolutely.
And you've become now an expert in counter-terrorism and how to tackle this. What impact do you think Harry's comments will have had?
Well, I think firstly, coming from a senior member of the royal family, he hasn't got the combination of qualities that one should expect: dignity, honour, courage, courtesy, justice and compassion. And his statements that he's made, pretty reckless and damaging. Not only have they painted a bigger bullseye on the British Armed Forces, but anything to do with the institution, but also his own family as well. And I think the statement that's come out of Afghanistan so far from Anas Haqqani, I mean, it's pretty modest, but we can expect that he's allowed the narrative to move a few more notches up, where we've been trying to counter that extremist narrative over the years, and it's been pretty difficult. The UK narrative, well, let's say the British military narrative, has been quite effective so far. But what he's gone and done, he's just gone and annihilated it.
Well, let me bring in Colonel Kent. I mean, you operated in Afghanistan, one of the commanders there. Harry has told People magazine, it's a duty, a job, a service to our country. I've done all I could to be the best soldier I could. There's truly no right or wrong way to try and navigate these feelings. But I know from my own healing journey that silence has been the least effective remedy. Expressing and detailing my experience is how I chose to deal with it in the hopes it would help others. What's your reaction to that justification?
Well, I think he's actually, in the comments he's made, I don't personally have a huge problem with him spelling out the numbers he's killed. Everyone knows he was a crew member of an Apache attack helicopter whose job was to kill the enemy. I don't have an issue with that. The issue I have is with the way he's described British Army training to teach people like him that the Taliban and the enemy are less than human. They're just chess pieces to be swept off the board, which is dangerous because it's wrong. That's not the way the British Army is taught. And it also shows the army in a way that I think feeds straight into jihadist propaganda. They'll use that, they already have used it, to show the lack of humanity of the British forces, the way the British forces did not treat fighters in Afghanistan as human beings. And it will lead, I think, to radicalisation and possibly to inciting Taliban and other jihadists to carry out attacks against British people here in this country and elsewhere in the world.